The first thing we're going to do in Book Creator is make your account. So to do that, if you do a Google search for Book Creator and then go for the first option, bookcreator.com, within there you're going to go to the sign in. Once you've clicked on sign in, then that will give you a few options. Important here that you click on the teacher sign in, make that go white rather than the student sign in. So student sign in grey, teacher sign in white, and then you can sign in if you've got a 365 or a Google, sign in with them, or any other email, sign in with them. I'm going to sign in with my Google account, so it'll ask me for my account, click on the account, and that will automatically sign me in to my Book Creator account. Once I'm into the Book Creator account, I've got a couple of options. I've got different libraries, my book's private one, and then I've also set up another library which is my one that I have for my class. If I click on that one, you can see that in the library I've got some books on my bookshelf. So these are books that I've created already. The quality of the books a lot of mine look very primary orientated, but they can be secondary if you want them to look more sophisticated. So I'm now going to show you how to create a new book. So we start off with the new book button up here. We click on there and we've got 6 books as options. The bottom ones are comics and the top ones are plain books. I go with the comics because we get the ability to put the comic elements in, whereas the top ones we haven't got that ability. But with the bottom ones we don't have to put them in if we don't want to. And I tend to go with square just because it fits in with lots of browsers. So if I click on square, I then get my front cover comes up. First thing I'm going to do on my front cover is I'm going to click on the ad and I'm going to go to media. In the media panel I'm going to look at import and see what that does. So import allows me to first of all do a direct Google search. So if my book was going to be a book on flowers, click on flowers, click the Google search, and it will find lots of options. If I click on the one I want and then press select, that will insert that picture into my front cover. I can click on the picture, resize it with the blue handles, rotate it with the green thing. If I want to rotate it, move it around the screen by dragging it, and you can see it's quite versatile what you can do. You also get some extra little guidelines. So if I want to put it in the center, you can see as I move it across, I get a line comes in. If I move it up, I also get another line showing me I'm the vertical center as well. So that's how you put an image in. If I go again plus and media, I can put some text in. 2 ways of putting text in. I can either type the text in. If I could spell it correctly, I can type text in by putting my flower book, or if you're working with younger children, if you click on the microphone, my book about flowers. You can see it's fairly accurate, so I can put that in. This is my book about flowers. Stop the recording. I can listen to it by clicking on the play button. This is my book about flowers. And then if I'm happy, I can click use recording. It will put a little sound bite in, and then that can go wherever I want. The colour, and I can then just draw with my orange felt pen. I undo that. If I go to the paintbrush, change the colour, I can then draw with my paintbrush, and same with the crayon. If I change the colour, I've got some new options down here which are called magic ink. If I click on them, I can get some purple glitter. If I then go to my paintbrush and I can paint with purple glitter, I can colour in with purple glitter. The other thing I've got, which is the most powerful tool, is if you click on the pen and you go to auto pen, what you can do then is you can draw something or start drawing something, and hopefully it will recognise what you're trying to draw. So if I start drawing a house, you can see however accurate my house is, it starts looking at the top up here and it's recognised I want to draw a house, and it puts a house in for you. So it's quite nice for the children to draw things. You can then, if you're happy with your house, you click on done. Your house will then go into your picture. If I just delete that and show you how to do that again, I'm going to go Add, Media, go to Pen, Auto Pen. At the moment I'm in black. I'll leave it in black, show you how else it can work. Auto, I start drawing something, so I'm going to draw a flower, seeing as that was what my book was going to be about. So I start drawing a flower. Every time I stop, it will look and see, it can recognize what I'm trying to do. So you can see it's recognized I'm trying to do a flower. Click on the flower and it's made a nice flower for me. I'm going to make the flower a little bit bigger. Click on the cross, but then I'm going to use my paintbrush tool, or my fill tool, sorry, but I'm going to change the colour. So I'm going to go in with some magic art, click on my paint pot, and then if I click there, it will fill it with magic art. So if I change it now to this one and click here, it will fill the outside. And you can see the children are going to have great fun doing that. Press OK or done, and then that will put the picture into my book. I can resize it, rotate it, all the things we've looked at earlier on. So I can put pictures in there. So in the media panel, we've looked at import. You can also, from the import panel, you can do things from files that you've got on your desktop or files you've got in your computer. They can be video files, they'll insert as well. You can put Google Drives in, if you've got things in your Google Drive, and you can also put maps in. So if I do maps, if I did Buckingham Palace, click on there, it will find Buckingham Palace, and I can select that and I can put that in as a map within my book. So we can put different elements of content in there. If I open a new page up now and I go to plus, I'm now going to add some of the comic elements. So go on panels first of all, and I just go for 2 panels. I can click on the panel, click on a picture, and it'll allow me to put an image. So if I stick with this flower theme, press the search, find the flower I want, press select. It will then put the flower in place, and it makes it just stay in the boundaries. If I want to move it, you can see my flower, I can move it so it fits and I can see more of the flower. If I then go to the bottom one, I might want to put something there, click on the picture. Again, I might want to put a rose in this time, click on the search, find a rose that I like, that one, press select, it will put the picture in, and then I can move it, click on the move and move it so there's no white showing in my picture. So that's quite a nice feature to make a comic. Then I can add in speech bubbles, and you can double click on them and they will allow you to type. You can then change the size of the speech bubble, you can move it around, you can move where the voice is coming from. You can also add thought bubbles in the same way. Put some text in, so you could do your flowers text, press done, and that will put that in as a title. Again, you can rotate, you can make it bigger by going up to the eye and changing the size of the font and all the things that we did before with our elements last time. And then you can also add in stickers, and these are ready-made stickers, so you can put them in. You can't change the font, you can't change what they're saying, you've got no accessibility to do anything in the eye apart from hyperlinks, which we'll look at in another session. So if I go back to stickers, you can do crash, boom, whatever you want to do. So that's my elements. The final one, if I click on the add and I go to shapes, I've got some shapes. If I click a shape, basic shape, I go up to the eye, I can decide if it's got a shadow, if it's got a border, and then I can also decide on the border colour, and I can decide on the colour of the actual shape. I can also click on it, and for this one it's got rounded corners. If I drag the green, it will make the corners more rounded or less rounded. If I double click on it, it will allow me to type something in the middle. So that's the shape tool. You've also got other shapes. You've got arrows, and you can change the arrows. The arrows are quite limited in what you can do. You can't make them bigger the other way, you can just make them longer or shorter. And then you can also add in in your shapes. You can add in speech bubbles and thought bubbles the same as you did in the comics. So that's all of the elements that you want to add in. The next thing I'm going to show you is if you click on the play button at the top right, then it will play the book to you. But before I start that, I'm going to go back to the beginning, and then I'm going to play it from there. So when you play it, it will look like a proper book, and you can see I can turn the pages and have it like a proper book being read. I can also get the book to be read to you. So if I click on read to me.
My book about flowers.
This is my book about flowers.
Yep, flowers.
And it goes through every element that you've got in your book and will read anything that's text or your stickers or anything that's in there. So that's the way the book works to create the book. If I now go back to the editing and then go back to one more thing to show you here. If you click on pages, it shows you the pages in the order that you've got them, and you can play about with that order. You can move pages around. So if I want to move that and swap it with there, I can do that. If I now go back to my library, you can see I've got my book here. I can now do a few things. So I can click on this sharing option, and I can then print the book. So that would print it out just as a piece of paper. Obviously you'd lose all of the interactive elements like the speech and anything you've got in there that's video, you'd lose them. You can also do download as an ebook, and that will keep all those functions, but it's difficult to open up ebooks in lots of computers. So I recommend doing the publish online. If I click publish online, it wants a title for my book. So if I call it flowers, and then I publish the book will publish. And then if I click on this copy public share link to clipboard, it's now on my clipboard. I've got the link. If I open up a new browser at the top and I type in that link, you can see that's the link they've just given me. If I click enter, it will open up the link so this could be shared with parents, and they can read the book that I've just given them. So they can share it as it could be a book about the class, it could be a book about you as a teacher, or it could be some of the work the children have done and you want to share that with them. So it shares as a book. If I shut that browser down, back to here, it will always be published until I stop publishing it. So if I just cross out of that, it's always going to be published. And you know it's been published because you see this little sign here. If you haven't got it published, it won't have that sign, as that one hasn't. So you'll see the sign at the top there. So that's how you create your books. At the moment, there's only me in my library. I want to get some students into my library. The way I do that is I go up to the N, or in your case it will be your initial, click on there, and then I go to student logins. I'll clear the ones I've got in there already, so I've already put some in. I've now got a blank list of students, so I can put them in lots of different ways. I can copy them, paste them if I've got a list of them, or I can just put them in manually as long as I put a line in between each one, and I can type in the names as I go through. When I'm happy, I press next, and then I decide, is it the right library? That's the library I want them in. Press next. It will generate codes for them two ways. It does QR codes, which print out these type of things. These are better if you're doing something with the camera on. If you're using laptops or Chromebooks, I recommend going for the download login links. And what that will do is it will create a text file. I'll put it on my desktop for now. Save it there. It will put the desktop file down here. Click on it. It opens it up. So if I show you what it looks like, it opens up as a file like this. If I now highlight all of those, I could copy, right click, copy. I could copy and paste them in whatever you use to get the information to the children. So if it's Google Classroom or Microsoft Teams or Seesaw or Class Dojo to get their information to them. Once they've got that link, if they click on it, it will automatically put them into your library, and it will automatically allow them to do some books. One word of caution, this little settings sign here, once you start getting students into your book, into your library. If you click on there, you can see I've got most of these turned on apart from the bottom one. I don't allow students to publish their own books because I don't know until I've looked at them whether they're publishable or whether they could put something that's not appropriate. So I always turn that off, and if I'm going to publish it, I make sure I'm the one who publishes it rather than them. But the other three I leave turned on. This is the one that you might not want to, where the student can read each other's books. They can't edit each other's books, but they are able to read them. So that is Book Creator. Have a great time. Oh, one more final thing. If you click on the little 3 lines up here and go to resources, you can see some good elements of different levels. So if I go into pre-kindergarten and kindergarten, if you scroll down, you don't need to log into this, but if you scroll down, you will get some examples of books that you can see. So if I click on this one, for example, it will take you to a book, and this one's I Want to Be a Superhero that an early years class have done. Click on it and you can see that they've put their comic style book together, and the children have done some green screen work to get their images in on top of other pictures. And they've also all put some little sound bites.
I can say thank you. I can say thank you.
So they've all done some little sound bites as well. So that is Book Creator. Have a great time. Enjoy using it.